Well, the Supreme Court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to begin dismantling the Department of Education, a move that could lay off over 1,000 workers and shift key programs to other agencies. Education advocates warn it could severely impact low-income students and those with disabilities. But the White House says it's about returning control to the states.
I'm just incredibly pleased that the authority was reinstated where it should be. This lifts the handcuffs off of what we've been trying to do.
24 states, including Nevada, now suing over $6 billion in federal education funds on hold. The issues with the federal education department are more than just politics. Locals are feeling the stress as Washington battles over policy. And senior political reporter Steve Sebelius has been digging into this story today.
Clark County is more than 2,000 miles away from Washington, D.C., but decisions made about the Department of Education there are going to have big impacts here, and that has local officials concerned.
The controversy over gutting the education department started back on March 20th when President Donald Trump signed an executive order calling on Education Secretary Linda McMahon to close the department and return schools oversight to the states. Although legal questions remain, the department was created by Congress and can't be dissolved without congressional action. Local officials are wary about what's happening in Washington, D.C.
That's how vulnerable this state is.
John Velardita, executive director of the Clark County Education Association, tells me the department serves a good purpose.
I think what it's going to create is a system that does not live up to what the intent was when it was created, which was the so-called great equalizer. You know, the role of the federal government out of that, I think, tips the balance to more inequity.
But it's not just union leaders.
They're working hard. They understand the need.
Frontline teachers like Kristen Nigro, who teaches at Rexbell Elementary, are feeling the tension too. I asked Nigro what she would say to President Trump about cutting the department and the funds that may come with those cuts.
I would tell him, you know, as a 13-year veteran, I urge him, please don't take that funding away, especially, you know, here in Nevada. We have a lot of students. We are the 5th largest school district, and every single one of those students that are in our district matter, no matter what their background story is. And so we really need to make sure that do not take from, you know, those students. Please don't do that, because that's going to really harm in the end.
I reached out to the Clark County School District, but Superintendent Joan Ebert wasn't available for an interview. Governor Joe Lombardo, who in March supported Trump's executive order on the education department, says he's in constant touch with federal officials as they review funding. Lombardo did sign Assembly Bill 494 earlier this year. That bill authorizes the state to prepare a report if the education department is abolished and to adopt regulations at the state level to replace those formerly enforced by the feds.
Whether it's grant funding or the ultimate fate of money from the U.S. Department of Education, teachers and officials here wait for what's happening on the other side of the country. Reporting in Las Vegas, I'm Steve Sebelius.
Well, CCSD Superintendent Joan Ebert did provide a statement on the lawsuit. Nevada is part of that one that opposes $6 billion in federal education grants. And officials say in part, quote, the timing of the U.S. Department of Education's decision to withhold funding for several important programs is unfortunate. They went on to say the decision comes when we are close to the beginning of the upcoming school year, adding these particular grants provide services to some of our most vulnerable students. And this includes after-school opportunities, English learner supports, and other academic enrichment programs.